would you like to walk the wall, my darling? Can you walk the wall? Come on, let's see if you can walk it. You could be a tightrope walker in the circus. Walk the wall! Oh, way up in the sky. Oh, you want you. Where's your little clown, anyway? Where's that little clown you had? Is he up in your room? Well, you don't want that one? How's about that one? Yes, you like that one. Isn't your mother ever gonna come down and see us?
I wasn't sure I should.
Oh, Rachel. Look, there's Mommy. I'm glad you came. Amanda likes to see us together, don't you? What you want, sweetheart?
Luck.
What's troubling you, honey?
Oh, well, I'll wait till you finish playing.
You won't tell me what's the matter?
Well, I want to talk to you when I have your undivided attention.
I guess that's impossible as long as Amanda's around, huh?
Yes, I wouldn't dream of competing with her.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been playing with her for an hour. Maybe it'd be better if she does go back to the nursery so she doesn't get all tired out.
Yes, when she gets cranky, she's awfully hard to settle down. Louise!
You don't ever really get cranky, do you? We don't have any pudding for you to dip the nipple in, do we?
Would you take the baby up to the nursery, please?
All right, for you to go, honey. Kiss me goodbye. Give me a kiss. Give me a goodbye kiss. Oh, that's such a sweet kiss.
Come on,
Yes.
Amanda. Come on, you got your joy. Up we go
Bye-bye.
to the nursery.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hey. Mind if we stay out here? It's so nice.
No, fine.
Well, what's on your mind?
Oh, something that I think you should have told me the other night.
Sounds very argumentative, Rachel.
I don't want to argue with you.
Good, because I don't either.
But I heard something at the complex today that, well, I can't believe.
What's that?
That you have set Janice up in her own office and given her a title of some sort?
Oh, I see.
Is that all you have to say?
You've obviously already put the wrong interpretation on it, so why should I bother to say anything?
How do you know what interpretation I've placed on
I
it?
can hear it in the tone of your voice.
What you've done is rather outrageous, don't you think?
If I thought so, I wouldn't have done it, Rachel.
You're really shameless about this, aren't you?
I don't want to discuss Janice with you.
We're discussing your business.
Well, that's something that's never concerned you before.
You know, you're no better than one of those politicians who hires their mistress even though she can't type.
Janice can type.
Well, that's something.
I've asked you not to call her my mistress.
Will you come up with a better word?
I thought you didn't want to argue.
I don't.
Why do you keep trying to goad me into it, then?
I want an explanation.
All right. Are you willing to talk about it quietly, reasonably?
Well, that's not going to be easy, but I'll try.
I would appreciate it.
I guess it's your reputation I care about, as useless as that may be, but it reflects very badly on both of us.
So you think I'm making a fool of myself by doing this with Janice, is that it?
You honestly believe that Janice is qualified to work on some magazine you want to publish?
You honestly want me to answer that?
Why else would I ask it?
You certainly won't like it if I say anything complimentary about
You
Janice.
can say anything you want.
Well, the fact of the matter is the whole concept is Janice's. She's come up with a brilliant new idea for a woman's magazine.
Another woman's magazine? Are you serious?
This one is different.
There are dozens of women's magazines on the market already.
Obviously, you don't want to listen.
Well, why is this one different?
Pat agrees that it'd tap an entirely new readership.
Why? Is it directed at girlfriends of married men? I mean, that's certainly a market she'd know a lot about.
You're really in good form, aren't you?
Do you think so?
One cheap shot after another.
You're going to be laughed out of Bay City if this ever gets out.
We'll see who does the laughing. You don't know what you're talking about.
I know Janice. That's enough for me.
She has much more substance than you give her credit for.
Well, you certainly would know all about her substance, but she certainly is clever to have landed you.
Was that supposed to be a compliment to her?
You can take it any way you want to.
I'd rather not take it at all.
Suit yourself.
Look, what is this discussion gonna lead us to?
Well, I guess what I want to know is how you feel about Janice.
How I feel about Janice?
Yes. Aside from her well-known professional attributes.
Well, I'd be lying if I said I didn't care for her.
You really feel strongly about her?
Yes. But I have a history of much longer duration caring about you.
Oh. Tenure counts with you? Make that past history.
All history is past history, Rachel, but I still am more aroused by you than I have ever been by any other woman or ever will be.
Well, that's very sweet. Is that what you say to Janice?
No. I'm being as honest with you as I know how to be.
You will never be honest with me as long as Janice is in your life.
You detest her, don't you?
The feeling is mutual.
I don't think so.
Look, I've tried very hard to forgive you for taking Amanda away from me, but I will never forgive her part in it.
She urged me to take Amanda back to you. I think you ought to know that.
That doesn't change anything.
She's very sympathetic toward you, Rachel.
Look, I'm tired, and I think you should leave now.
I don't like to leave on this note.
Please, Mac, you can come back and see Amanda here at the house whenever you want to, but don't expect me to join you.
Goodbye, Rachel.
Has Mr. Corey gone already?
He stayed here quite long now, Louise.
Delicious flavor.
I just fainted. I'm fine now.
You mustn't remain in this damp blouse too long.
I'll go upstairs and change it.
No. Why don't you just sit down here on the sofa for a few minutes before you try climbing the stairs?
Oh, I do feel weak.
Oh, there you are. Now, if you lie down, I'll get you a cold compress.
No, that's not necessary, Louise.
Would you care for something cool to drink?
No, thank you.
Mrs. Corey, which doctor would you prefer I call?
You're not going to call a doctor, Louise.
Mrs. Corey,
There's nothing to worry about.
a sudden fainting spell can hardly be called nothing.
I'm better now.
You would have fallen and you could have seriously injured yourself if I hadn't been there.
Well, lucky for me, you were there.
What if it should happen again?
It won't happen again, Louise.
You have no way of knowing that. You really should let a doctor examine
I'm
you.
all right now.
Forgive me, Mrs. Corey, I can't agree with you.
Louise, I'm sorry I've upset you, but there's really no reason for alarm.
You need to find out what caused you to black out that way.
I think I know what it was.
May I ask what it is?
Louise, these last few months haven't been very easy for me.
I understand.
I mean, first it was Janice, and then Mac taking the baby away from me. And I was beside myself. I didn't know if I'd ever see her again.
And you think there's a connection between all that and your fainting spell?
Yes, I do.
Did you have a pleasant visit with Mr. Corey after I took Amanda upstairs?
It started out that way.
You became ill shortly after Mr. Corey left.
Yes, I know.
Did something happen to upset you?
Mr. Corey and I have a knack for upsetting each other.
I'm sorry.
I should be used to it by now.
You've both been under a great strain. And perhaps in time you'll be better able to, well, to put your antagonisms behind you.
Don't count on it, Louise.
Brooks and I were encouraged when we first learned Mr. Corey would be coming here to see Amanda at the house.
The separation agreement stipulates he can see the baby wherever he wants to.
So far, his choice seems to be the house.
Well, if it continues to be the house, I'll make sure that I'm not here when he comes over.
Why, Mrs. Corey?
It's just better this way, Louise. I really don't want to talk about Mr. Corey anymore, all right?
Shall I help you up to your bedroom so you can lie down, and I'll fix you some tea?
I can't lie down. Elaine is expecting me.
Well, surely the Countess will understand if you postpone your appointment.
She called while Mr. Corey was here and told me that one of my sculptures has been vandalized. She's very upset about it.
Mrs. Corey, you just fainted. You can't go out now. You must take care of yourself.
Louise, I'm all right. Please don't make an issue out of this. Oh, hectic as usual.
You look a little weary.
No, nothing that the country air won't help.
That's true.
I'm sorry I'm late.
No, that's all right. Look, Rachel, are you sure it's okay for today? Because if you're busy, we can do this tomorrow.
No, it's all right. It was just that Mac was at the house visiting with Amanda, and I wanted to stay close by.
You didn't join them?
Well, briefly, to discuss further visitation arrangements with Mac.
I gather you two still aren't getting along. I also gather you don't want to talk about it, so let's go right to business. Sit down, Rachel.
Thank you. You tell me that one of my sculptures has been vandalized?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Sally Frame came into the gallery the other afternoon, and she took one of your sculptures from your new exhibit.
Sally?
Yeah.
Did you see her take it?
No, I didn't, and neither did Dennis. We were both out, but Douglas was there, and when he tried to stop her, she dropped it, and it broke.
Which piece? Oh, no.
Yes.
Well, I loved this piece.
I know, Rachel. I did, too. It was one of my favorites.
Well, why would she do something like this?
I guess she's going through a really troubled time.
Well, that's obvious.
She's just going through a terrible phase right now.
Well, what?
Well, it's hard to believe, but Dennis and Jamie told me that they saw her on the street the other day panhandling.
Panhandling?
Yeah.
Alice won't give her any money?
Oh, and she was soliciting for some group.
Alice must be having a fit.
I know. I think she is.
Elena, you didn't have any charges filed against her, did you?
Well, unfortunately, Douglas had her arrested.
Arrested?
He didn't know who she was, but when I came back, I straightened it out, and she was released, and I dropped the charges. Rachel, let me ask you a question. Is there any possibility that that could be recast?
No, it wasn't a permanent mold.
Oh, dear. It was so awful. Well, maybe you'll do another one sometime.
Oh, I don't know. Elena, I haven't been very productive. I just can't concentrate on anything.
I understand.
Why would she take it out on a piece of sculpture?
Excuse me.
Oh, yes?
I'm looking for the gallery owner.
Oh, that's me. I'm Elena de Poulignac.
How do you do? I'm Frank Lansing.
Look, Elena, I'll let you go so you can take care of Mr.
Oh, it'll just take a minute. I have a question I hope you'll be able to answer.
I hope so. What is it?
Would you mind just looking at this?
Sure. It's very beautiful. Where did you get it?
In Thailand. I was a news correspondent in Thailand and Cambodia for Reuters, and I bought this carving from a native.
Very fascinating.
I was wondering if it might be worth anything.
Gee, I don't know. I don't know anything about that kind of art. But I tell you what, the college has a really good art department.
All right, thank you for the suggestion. I'll go out there tomorrow.
Listen, I'm interested to know what they say, so if you're in the neighborhood.
Oh, sure, I expect to come back. As a matter of fact, I'm very impressed by some of the sculptures you have on display.
Well, good. Rachel did most of them.
Are you Rachel Davis?
Yes, I am.
May I say how much I like your work?
Oh, you certainly may. Thank you.
I'm curious about one piece in particular. Do you mind taking a moment to tell me about it?
No, not at all. I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Come
After
on.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which piece?
Well, you know, she's been very tired ever since she returned from New York.
Yes, I know. She told me that she might have overdone things there. You're hiding something from me.
Mr. Corey was here this afternoon, and just after he left, Mrs. Corey had a fainting spell.
Rachel fainted?
Yes, Ada. Fortunately, I was nearby.
I already told Louise that it was nothing.
Well, I don't think she believes you, and neither do I. Come on, you have a fever.
I do not.
Your face is very
It's
hot.
hot outside, okay? I'm fine.
Mrs. Corey, I've already given Amanda her bath, and dinner will be ready shortly.
Thank you, Louise.
Excuse me.
I think we should talk about this fainting business.
Louise had no business telling you about that.
Well, I'm glad she did. I never would have found out about it.
Look, you know how Louise overreacts to everything.
Well, so do you.
Sometimes.
What, are you pregnant or something?
No, I'm not pregnant. I don't have a husband anymore. Remember?
Got to be some reason why you passed
I
out.
just think it's anxiety over this situation with Mac.
Thought you were going to try and get him back.
It's too late.
Louise told me he was here this afternoon.
Yes, he came over to see Amanda.
Well, I'm sure he came to see you, too.
Well, he said he did.
What happened?
He's perfectly content to come over and visit with me and Amanda and go back to his life with Janice.
You know, I think he would forget about Janice if you gave him a few positive signs.
What's the use?
You and Mac have a fight? About Janice? I thought you weren't going to let her get to you.
She's way ahead of me and I can't catch up.
Well, you have the baby. Mac wants to come here to see her.
I found out today that Mac has set Janice up with a job at the complex.
How do you know?
Liz told me when I went over there.
Oh, come on. You know Liz. She gets things mixed up, you know?
Yeah, well, she didn't this time.
She probably told you that just to make you mad. She's always had it in for you.
And she likes me a whole lot better than she likes Janice. Been wondering why she's been so nice to me. Now I know.
Well, did you ask Mac about it?
Yes, and he confirmed it.
It's hard to believe.
You should have heard him going on and on about how talented Janice is.
What does she do, exactly?
She's come up with some idea for a new women's magazine.
Well, I don't know anything about magazines.
Yeah, well, you know just about as much as Janice does. Who does Mac think he's kidding?
Oh, come on, honey. Mac's a very good businessman.
Yeah, he's a terrific businessman. He's worked out a way to put his mistress on the payroll and write it off as a legitimate business expense.
Mac's not going to throw his company's money away on a project that he doesn't think is going to work.
Well, it's Mac's money, and he can spend it on anything he wants, including a phony project for Janice.
Rachel, he's not a fool.
Well, he's certainly acting like it. I mean, the next thing you know, she's going to be the vice president of that company.
Okay, Janice works at the complex. That doesn't mean Mac wants to spend the rest of his life with her.
Well, I asked him point blank how he feels about her. And he says that he cares for her very much.
Well, caring for somebody doesn't mean that they love him.
Look, Mom, I have to accept the fact that my marriage is over, and so do you, because I can't go on living with a false hope that we're going to get back together again someday, okay?